In a world painted with the nostalgic hues of a classic fantasy epic, the story begins with what appears to be the perfect adventuring party. The group, a quintessential fantasy squad, is led by a powerfully built hero with spiky hair, a golden circlet, and a determined gaze. Alongside him are his three companions: a woman in a distinctive blue outfit reminiscent of a priestess, a vivacious blonde with the attire of a dancer, and a small gothic Lolita-styled girl with pale purple hair and a bow that looks like cat ears. The small girl, Ciel, summons a swirling orb of dark magic. The dancer, Goa, produces three ornate poison-filled syringes. The priestess, Anemone, coolly aims a pistol directly at the hero's back. The narrator declares that they are, in fact, absolutely dying to kill him. Just as quickly, the scene snaps back to a comedic beat, with the three assassins posing playfully as the hero looks on, utterly bewildered. Thus begins the tale of the stunned hero and the assassin princesses. Within a cavernous throne room illuminated by gargoyle-held torches, the Demon Lord, a bored-looking purple-skinned being with 3 eyes and impressive horns, addresses his daughter, Ciel Zabul. He formally tasks her with her coming-of-age ritual, to venture into the human world, identify the most capable hero seeking his demise, and assassinate them single-handedly. He materializes a holographic profile of the target, the hero Toto. Ciel, with a stoic and serious expression, accepts the mission without hesitation. The moment she teleports out of the castle, however, her grim facade melts away. In a complete 180, Ciel erupts with childish glee, ecstatically celebrating her first trip outside and the freedom of a solo mission. She dismisses the task of killing a single hero as super easy, her mind already racing with excitement for the true prize, sampling the famed sweets of the human realm. Meanwhile, in a grimy city alley, another of the hero's future companions is introduced. Anemone, an assassin with a cool and cynical demeanor, sits smoking while being paid by 2 clients for a previous job. They praise her skill before presenting her next assignment, adding a bizarre condition: she must carry out the hit while cosplaying as a priest. Anemone is immediately disgusted, declaring that such a cringy request is beneath her, regardless of the pay. Her principles evaporate, however, when the clients reveal the reward is a staggering 100 million gil. The scene instantly transitions to Anemone, cheerfully vowing to send her next target to the great beyond. In another part of the city, a pleasure palace becomes the stage for the third assassin's introduction. A hulking, bald man storms into the BDSM-themed establishment, furious and looking for its mistress, Goa. He roars about her operating a business without his permission, but before he can act, he is swiftly and effortlessly subdued. Goa, a voluptuous blonde with a whip in hand, appears riding on the man's back as if he were a steed. She expresses her amusement at taming such a big talker, but laments the lack of a real challenge. As if on cue, one of her underlings kneels and suggests she may have found the perfect candidate for a new, more stimulating target. The narrative then shifts to the Adventurers Guild in the town of Fromner. A trio of rookie adventurers stares at the quest board, feeling overwhelmed and outmatched. It is here that the hero, Toto, makes his grand entrance. In his mind, the scene plays out perfectly. He approaches the rookies with a suave flex and a charming wink, offering his services as a strong and kind hero. The rookies in his fantasy are starstruck by the famous Toto and eagerly accept his offer to join their party, ready to slay the Demon Lord together. Reality, however, is a far cry from this heroic daydream. Instead of a charismatic hero, the rookies see a terrifying, hulking man sweating profusely. Petrified, they assume they have somehow offended him and are promptly yeeted out of the guild. Dejected, Toto laments another failed attempt at forming a party, his perfect mental rehearsal once again failing to translate into reality. As the disheartened hero turns to leave, 3 figures approach him. In a dazzling, sparkly sequence, they simultaneously ask to form a party with him. Ciel, ever the pragmatist, immediately breaks the mood by bluntly calling her new associates a nuisance, to which Anemone retorts by calling her a foul-mouthed child. Goa, ever the opportunist, smoothly points out that their combined number makes for a perfect 4-person party. The other patrons of the guild are aghast, whispering amongst themselves about why 3 beautiful women would want to team up with a notoriously unpopular and intimidating hero. Toto, caught between shock and elation, can hardly believe his luck. Steeling his nerves, he prepares to accept their offer. Just then, other men try to convince the ladies to come to their party instead. But when Goa playfully touches his arm, the physical contact proves too much for his sheltered psyche. He overheats spectacularly, turning beet red as steam erupts from his head, and promptly faints on the spot. The girls are left baffled until a nearby adventurer explains Toto's legendary shyness and complete lack of experience with women. Seeing this as the ultimate weakness to exploit, Goa and the other woman give a wicked grin. CL, she conjures a teleportation circle, abducting the unconscious hero and blasting a hole in the guild's roof as she makes her escape. Furious at being outmaneuvered, Anemone and Goa give chase, showing impressive speed to catch up on feet. Anemone unleashes a grenade machine gun, firing a barrage of ice projectiles from a weapon materialized out of thin air. CL expertly dodges while carrying Toto, eventually deploying a defensive spell called Chaos Maiden, a shimmering purple barrier that effortlessly deflects the assault. Seeing an opening, Goa throws her hands up in a gesture of peace to make the woman see reason. Anemone scoffs but listens, and so does CL, and they both let their guard down, but Goa grins, a vial of her special paralyzing perfume incapacitating both CL and Anemone. She gloats about her ability to turn her victims into conscious but immobile toys. The situation takes a disastrous turn when CL panics, realizing that her initial summoning spell for teleportation was interrupted by Goa's attack. The spell goes haywire, losing control and instead summoning a monstrous, multi-eyed dark spider dragon. Goa, who isn't paralyzed, tries to comedically leave, but the other women grab onto her, calling her an empty-headed Amazon, asking where she thinks she's going. The three women, now frozen and helpless, can only watch in horror as the rampaging beast turns its attention toward them. Just as the dragon lunges to attack, Toto intercepts it with a single devastating punch, completely obliterating its head and saving his would-be assassins. The girls are amazed and ready to admire such a hero, but he is too shy. The three women are a mess of shock, relief, and grudging admiration. Then they remember their mission and rush to him, playing the part of the admiring woman, showering him with praise for his incredible strength. The sudden contact once again too much for the shy hero to handle, and he faints for a second time. Anemone asked if they should kill him, but CL admits she is out of mana from the botched summoning. She also confesses with a slight blush that she found his display of power kind of impressive, much to the amusement of Goa, who finds her crush adorable. Anemone decides to give him a break since he saved their butts. Goa invites them for sweets. CL accepts wanting sweets, but Anemone wants to learn of her new foe or friends, with Goa thinking the same. The newly formed dysfunctional party makes its way to the town of Toskny, known for its sweets. Deciding to start over, they reintroduce themselves with their fabricated personas. CL, the apprentice spellcaster, Anemone, the benevolent priestess, and Goa, the free-spirited dancer. Toto, struggling against his social anxiety, manages to formally state his name and awkwardly promise to protect them. Goa, finding his effort endearing, calls him a good boy and gives him a hug, causing him to faint for a third time. After a hug is knocked out, the girls talk about who they really are. Seal, the daughter of the demon lord who is here to kill him and gain her independence. Anemone, the hard assassin who just wants the money. And Goa, the mistress who wants to make the hero her pet. With that, Anemone gets up to leave and cancel the contract, as this mission isn't worth it, plus the cosplay she has to do. But that was all a performance, as she plans to do the job, as no one is out here trying to protect him. So it's easy money. Just as she brings out her sniper, she sees something terrible: slave trading. And she steps in, showing she's not evil, even if she's killing for money. Then she even gives the kid pocket money to start over. Then, the boss, who's a monster, steps out the shadows and a fight starts. Anemone is a great hand-to-hand fighter, but is skilled in bombs and knives, beating the crap out this guy. She's fast BTU, the guy can regenerate, and she has to dodge a lot BTU, just when the fight is going to escalate. Toto steps in and knocks the guy out with one punch. She looked impressed and blushed as he promised to protect her. But he then freezes, seeing her knife, and she struggles to come up with a lie, but is able to put him to sleep with a kiss and wink. And behind a corner, the other girls laugh at her, and she's enraged they came to follow her. They question why she didn't kill the guy from the jump, and she said she didn't want to scar the kid. After all, if they see so much blood at an early age, they won't grow up right. Then she explains she plans to change this rotten world one day, so she needs money. Her power around her knife is a blazing inferno, and she shouts. He planned to kill the hero, but it shatters. As she blushingly can't go through it, then makes an excuse to go home as she's tired. The girls know the truth. Later that night, the group finds themselves in a single, flamboyantly decorated inn room. Anemone doesn't plan on sharing her bed and goes to get her own room, and CL does the same. Goa is amused, asking why CL would leave her alone with the hero. CL is confident that she's the only one who could kill Toto and leaves. Goa sees it as a great challenge and gives Toto a shot of her Joker gas that makes people dogs, giving him 5 minutes at most before he becomes her dog. Goa takes a shower, coming back ready for action, but what she finds is not what she expected, as she changes into her combat gear attacking. But Toto is a tank, and his mind is a fortress with no ooga-booga thoughts getting in. He shows his dominance, but the main thing is he promised to protect her. Goa is overblown that he's resisting her spell and more than is the dominant one and loves it. But when he wakes up to see her panting in such a position, he faints. Anemone was a little worried to see Goa and Toto in bed, but is happy it was cleared up. Anemone treats CL like a child, and CL doesn't like that, ready to fight her. The three-woman bond, as Anemone doesn't seem that bad as an assassin, as she has a big heart. Goa and her dominatrix act is worried about people fearing her, as she can control people, and CL is happy to have friends to hang out and play games with them having a sleepover. Inside a lavishly decorated inn-room, Goa, the vivacious dancer, stretches languidly on a large plush bed. CL, in her usual gothic Lolita attire, sips tea and matter-of-factly states that Goa certainly slept well. Goa, unbothered by their apathetic vibe, simply replies that it was a comfy bed. Her attention then turns to the hero, Toto, who is still completely unconscious on a makeshift bed on the floor. CL, with the detached air of a medical examiner, calmly informs them that it's just a case of passing out from blood loss. Anemone, ever the pragmatist, wonders aloud if they could just let him bleed out and call it a day. CL dismisses the idea, stating it would likely require a lot more blood. Goa smirks deviously. They begin to argue over who gets the honor of assassinating Toto. Before they can clash, the hero wakes up and they switch their personalities, and he faints from seeing them so close. Later, the newly formed party finds themselves back at the Adventurers Guild. As the party leader, Toto has paperwork to do. Toto, of course, was overjoyed and ended up creeping the desk girl out. The others tried to calm him down. Meanwhile, Toto is clutching his official party registration form, a look of pure, unadulterated joy on his face. This is the first time he's ever successfully formed a party. After the group shows signs of not knowing much about guilds, Goa takes on the role of the knowledgeable guide, using a colorful pyramid chart to explain the adventurer ranking system to her less informed companions. Seal, unimpressed, notes how low E rank is, while Anemone asks what kind of low-effort quests they can even take at their current level. Goa confirms that for now, they are limited to basic tasks like slime hunting and herb collecting, much to Seal's disappointment and Anemone's weary resignation. Seal asked how long it would take to rank up, and she is annoyed it would take years, not days, and the priest wants to get it over with and moves. Seal tries to stop Toto from going. The grabs him and he faints. The other girls question what the problem, and Seal reminds them why they are here: to kill Toto, not play adventures. The girls agree and are about to all fight for the right to kill him, but they all like hanging out with each other, so they decide to all take turns every day trying to kill Toto, deciding it with a game of rock, paper, scissors. Soon enough, Toto wakes up and is alone with CL. He questions what happened, and CL explains the others are looking for a E-rank mission they can do. Alone with her, he's nervous. CL asked him why he wanted to go adventuring so badly. Is it for money or fame? He's hesitant and says barely above a whisper, it's for confidence, shocking her. Toto knows that the scar on his face and personality scares people away, but yet he wants to talk to people, and he thought beating the Demon Lord would give him courage. He feels guilty as he said he'd protect her, but feels he's failing, but CL reassures him he's doing fine. CL makes him pass out again, and the other girls tease her from behind a tree for looking like a maiden in love. Goa, having secured their first official quest from the weapon shop owner, a simple E-rank mission to collect iron ore from the Cave of Lakes, presents it to the group. Seal tells them not to get in her way today as they agreed, but Anemone doesn't think Seal can do it, as to her, she's gotten too attached to Toto. The two are about to fight again, but the dancer girl stops them. Their journey takes them to the entrance of the cave. CL finds the place gloomy, but Toto, despite his nervousness, is determined to lead. As they step inside, they are immediately confronted by a lone, unassuming green slime. Classic RPG-style text box even appears. The girls were expecting a big tough battle for Toto, but are reminded how strong he was. Taking his role as leader with extreme seriousness, Toto steps forward to protect his companions. He unleashes a barrage of powerful punches, but with each hit, the slime splits into smaller versions of itself. Still, they want to know how CL will kill him, and she explains she plans to overwhelm him with enemies like this one. Goa makes a gross comment on using slime in other ways, and Anemone can only blush. With a mischievous grin, she casts a spell that causes the horde of small green slimes to merge into a single monstrous, multi-eyed red creature, the Slime Emperor. The massive slime immediately engulfs Toto, and they think this is it. Toto demands it let him go, and eventually he roars and obliterates it. Ciel didn't know if she could kill him, and Go asked if she wanted to keep trying, and Ciel gives up for today. Now they need to find the iron ore and dig it out. Anemone finds it and wonders how they'd get it, and Toto simply punches the cave wall and picks it up, much to their growing exasperation. With their mission accomplished, the party returns to the weapon shop to deliver the iron ore. The muscular shopkeeper is incredibly impressed by a cocky, red-haired adventurer. When they walk in, the shop owner sees the girls not carrying anything and isn't mad, as it might have been hard. But Toto puts a large bag on his desk. The owner is impressed and congratulates them, and Toto is nervous from the praise. On the way home, the same red-haired cocky guy tells Toto not to let this success get to his head, as the shop owner says that to everyone. The girls completely forgot the red-haired guy's face, not knowing if they've seen him before. Then he tries to poach the three women, telling them to ditch Toto for his own D-rank party, dismissing Toto as a worthless E-ranker, saying he'd take real good care of them. In perfect unison, turn and deliver a silent, collective death glare so intense that it sends the rival adventurer running for his life in a comical burst of terror. Goa then turns back to Toto, reassuringly patting his arm and telling him not to worry about such small fry. Toto is self-conscious and again reaffirms to do his best and to protect them as a party. This collectively warms the heart of the three women, and they blush, liking his honesty. The episode opens in the quaint European-style town of Dosa, nestled in a valley surrounded by lush green mountains. Ciel, the small, purple-haired assassin, observes that this town is smaller than the previous one. Toto, the hero, clad in his signature green tunic, notes that this is his first time visiting Dosa. Meanwhile, a short distance away, Goa and Anemone are engaged in a hushed but intense strategic meeting. Goa, the vivacious blonde, whispers to Anemone that since Ciel failed in her attempt the day before, their quiet debate escalates until they are standing in the middle of the town square, vigorously playing the game to determine who gets the next attempt on Toto's life. The scene transitions to Goa and Toto walking together through the streets, drawing stares from the townsfolk who are captivated by Goa's revealing outfit and large chest. Toto, visibly flustered and blushing, stammers as he asks why it's just the two of them. Goa explains that Ciel and Anemone had other things to do. Leaning in with a playful and teasing glint in her eyes, she asks if he dislikes being alone with her. This sends Toto into a full-blown panic. He sweats profusely and vehemently denies it, insisting that's not the case at all. Amused, Goa suggests that since they have the time, they should go on a date and try out the local food. The word date causes Toto's mind to short-circuit. Internally, he's in a state of utter turmoil. He reframes the situation in his mind. This is a bodyguard mission, and his duty is to protect her. Just as he steals his resolve, Goa playfully grabs his arm, declaring they should get their date started. From behind a corner, Ciel and Anemone watch the scene unfold. Anemone dryly comments that Goa's plan is to pretend it's a date to get Toto to lower his guard. Ciel, ever the pragmatist, doubts Goa will succeed and decides to pursue her own agenda, which is to go find something to eat. Later, Goa and Toto are seated at the bar of a rustic, dimly lit tavern. Goa discreetly adds a few drops from a small vial into Toto's wooden mug. She cheerfully suggests they start with a toast. Toto, ever cautious, questions if he should be drinking. Goa reassures him, saying it's a light drink that even kids could handle. Inside her own mind, however, her true intentions are revealed. Her goal is to observe Toto's behavior patterns to formulate a better plan to assassinate him. Toto takes a large gulp of the drugged ale and then falls silent, staring intently at Goa. The scene shifts to Toto's overactive imagination, where he pictures himself as a suave, dashing gentleman in a spotlight, a rose held between his teeth. In this fantasy, he smoothly compliments Goa on her choice of liquor and her impeccable taste. However, the fantasy shatters, and Toto returns to reality, sweating and muttering to himself that there's no way he could ever pull off such a smooth act. Still in the tavern, Goa's attempts to incapacitate the hero continue. She offers him a skewer of grilled harpy meat, which she has also laced with a potent concoction. Her internal monologue reveals this drug is designed to cause confusion and disorientation. Toto takes a bite, chews thoughtfully, and then makes a strange contorted face of satisfaction, seemingly completely unaffected by the drug. Her next attempt involves a golem-style sandwich, a waffle sandwich that she has filled with a powerful anesthetic meant to knock him out for a week. Toto eats it without hesitation, and to Goa's disbelief, he not only remains conscious, but flashes a sinister, almost demonic grin, as if enjoying a particularly spicy meal. Defeated, Goa sits alone on a bench in the evening, sighing in despair. She concludes that Toto is likely immune to all status effects, and that her own special skills are ineffective against him. A wave of sadness washes over her as she flashes back to a lonely childhood, surrounded by other children, but always feeling isolated. She laments that at this rate, she'll never be able to make him fall for her. Toto approaches her, having been gone for a moment. He offers her a cup of tea, breaking her out of her melancholic state. In a moment of vulnerability and desperation, Goa grabs him and bluntly asks if he loves her. Before he can react to the shocking question, she changes tack, her demeanor shifting to one of dominance. She tells him to become her dog, to give himself to her in body and soul. Toto is completely overwhelmed, blushing and sweating, and apologizes he can't. She's vulnerable and starts to cry, begging for him not to hate her. He tries to speak, then bites his own hand so hard it bleeds. A desperate attempt to use the pain to shock himself out of his flustered state and regain his composure. He looks at her with pained sincerity and apologizes, explaining that he can't become her dog because if he did, he wouldn't be able to protect her. He clarifies that he could never hate her. In fact, she, Ciel, and Anemone are more important to him than his own life. The image of Toto is reflected in her wide, tear-filled eyes. She smiles genuinely and thanks him. This final emotional blow is the last straw for Toto. As he lies unconscious, she notices he bit himself just to stay conscious and flushed out the toxins. She patches him up and giggles, putting a small flower now resting on his bandaged hand, a tender, unspoken gesture. Sometime later, the group reunites. Ciel wants to go shopping for snacks, directing them. Ciel and Anemone notice that the two of them seem closer, as Goa offers to share the bed with him. Back in their lodging room, the three assassins discuss their next move. Anemone, smoking a cigarette, declares that it's her turn. Ciel points out that they've always decided with rock, paper, scissors. Goa says to Mon they can't help that Anemone sucks at the game, but Anemone refuses, stating she's the only one who hasn't had a turn yet. Anemone smugly declares that her turn will be the last, as she will definitely succeed today. Ciel and Goa decide to leave with Anemone to help her prepare. Meanwhile, Goa and Ciel are talking about where they would go to enjoy snacks, but Ciel doesn't want to eat with Goa as the woman would poison her food. But Goa manages to lure Ciel with the promise of enjoying ice cream at a local secret cafe. Inside the cafe, the women enjoy the sweets, and Ciel compliments Goa on her taste in ice cream as she really knows her stuff. They then talk business with Ciel, thinking it was foolish for Goa to try and kill Toto with poison or status effects as he's immune. Anemone and Toto are left alone gathering herbs, but it's awkward as Toto wants to speak to her, but has nothing to start a conversation with. Meanwhile, Anemone is an addict and wants to smoke so badly. Just then, Toto tries to ask her if she has any hobbies, and with no hesitation, she says booze and money. Then she tries to backtrack and say it was a joke to not blow her cover, realizing she can't let her guard down and wants to change the subject. She tries to deflect it back to him, but he is stunned and shyly says, "Lift weights," but it's awkward. That's when Anemone asked him how he got his scar, and the question makes him pause, when it's suddenly a man rushes to them, telling them to keep quiet. They're both confused why, as they're not bothering anyone, and that's when the man points out he's a bandit. The bandits tie up the staff and were trying to rob the place, and they're acting too calm. But Goa and Ciel remain completely unfazed, continuing their conversation. The bandit leader, a large man named Zack the Chain Scythe, introduces himself as a former B-rank adventurer. Ciel and Goa show no reaction, with Ciel simply stating she's never heard of him, and Goa unimpressively commenting on his rank. Infuriated by their lack of fear, Zack attacks. CL effortlessly conjures a magical shield that blocks the attack. He attacks again. The two assassins leap back and think he might be worth the bounty on his head so they wouldn't kill him. With a return to Anemone's attempt. She sweetly apologizes if the question is too personal, but he says it's fine. He explains that his family and friends are all gone from a monster attack. She apologizes for his loss and asks if he's seeking revenge, but he surprises her saying no. He wishes to get his confidence back and to lead a fulfilling life and help in the world. Later, they arrive ready to get herbs, and she admits the story sounds sad, but she'd still complete her mission. She sweetly calls him, then blows into his ear, knocking him out. The bandit leader is overwhelmed, never seeing magic like this when facing Ciel. He yells at his men to back him up, but to his shock, Goa then releases a purple, sweet-smelling mist from a bottle. While he's distracted, Ciel hits him with a hammer and is given a treat by Goa for a job well done. The ice cream staff's grateful and appreciates what they did and would like to buy them dinner tonight. Ciel would love to accept, but it would be a bad idea if the hero learned how strong they were, So Goa covers them by whipping all the people in the room's memory of this event, and they leave with Ciel having a newfound respect for potions, with Goa offering to teach her. Anemone then reveals her plan. Floating above her hand is her level bomb, a special explosive she created with her skill. She explains that its power grows depending on the strength of its target. She had previously knocked Toto unconscious by blowing in his ear, making him the perfect defenseless target. However, the bomb absorbs his immense power and grows to an enormous, mountain-destroying size. Anemone panics, realizing she'll be caught in the blast. Anemone wakes Toto up and frantically tells him to throw it. He complies, hurling the massive bomb into the sky, where it detonates and carves a huge chunk out of a nearby mountain. As the shockwave hits, Toto shields Anemone with his body. She is unharmed, and as she looks at him, a flicker of genuine gratitude and relief appears on her face before he faints yet again. In the closing scene, the group is together again. Toto's clothes are now even more tattered. Anemone, flustered, lies that a strange monster appeared and attached the bomb to Toto. He, being good-natured, is just glad she is safe. The other two girls are shocked at what happened. Anemone, blushing, looks away, clearly moved by his protective actions.